Hello and welcome back. This is Sherry with Full Armor of God, and today I believe I have confirmation for an incident that took place. Today is Memorial Day in the United States of America, Monday, May 27th, and yesterday I did a follow-up video about what took place on Friday, May 24th. There was a landslide in Papua New Guinea that had killed over 300 people. And please join me in praying for those people who have passed and their families. But I did have a vision on Thursday, May 23rd of a landslide. And you can see here it says closed eye vision of a landslide at 2:34 p.m. So I'm going to give you a brief overview of the video from yesterday of what I found on the Strong's Hebrew Concordance with these different times. And 234 in the Strong's Hebrew Concordance is the word asgara, and it means a memorial offering. So what stood out to me there was the word memorial. So I also, in yesterday's video on Sunday, May 26th, I gave you a video clip of the Mary Greeley News channel where she reported about the actual landslide that had taken place with a possible earthquake that may have caused it. And she had mentioned that there was mountainous terrain around that area and that it may have fractured. And I did actually hear the word fractured. The same day, Thursday, May 23rd, I heard fractured at 2:37 p.m. I looked up the word fractured, the time that I heard it. It was 2:37, and in the Strong's Hebrew Concordance, it is the word ezel, E-Z-E-L. And it means a memorial stone in Palestine. So I found that very intriguing since it was another occurrence of the word memorial. But also, which I believe is more significant, is the word Palestine. And I will tell you in a moment what I believe this means. But I also heard the word seacoast right above fractured at 2:36 p.m. on that same day, on Thursday, May 23rd, and I heard it at 2:36 p.m. and 2:36 in the Hebrew Strong's Concordance is the word azal, and it means to go off. And if you look it up in the Strong's Hebrew Concordance and you scroll down at the bottom of the page, it says under Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, go up, the same as azal, to depart, go up. And I believe that is in reference to the bride going up. So then I decided to look up the last vision that I had, which was a closed eye vision on that same day, Thursday, May 23rd. There it is. It was a closed eye vision of a red fireball falling in the nighttime sky at 2:38 p.m. And I believe I mentioned this on yesterday's video as well, that when I did have this vision, it was like it was falling into my face, which I don't know if that means that it could be something, since I live in the United States, something that could be falling as a fireball on the United States. I don't know, but I just wanted to add that detail in there for you. But it is the word azan, A-Z-A-N, and it means to give ear, listen. And if you go to that page for 238, under where it says NAS, Exhaustive Concordance, it also lists give ear, pay attention, and then underneath where it says Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, it is the word hearken. And you hear the word hearken a lot in biblical scriptures, which means pay close attention to this. So I believe that this is a warning message, that the Lord is giving us a warning about what is about to take place and what did occur today on Memorial Day in the United States, Monday, May 27th. Over in Israel, there was I believe you might want to call it a skirmish, but there was reports that Egyptian soldiers had fired upon Israeli soldiers, and I believe there are reports that 4 Egyptian soldiers were killed. So I will show you 2 videos, one from the perspective of Israel and the other one from the perspective of Palestine, and just to show you both sides of what's going on. And also, I believe that we could be heading into the beginning of the end. And in scripture, I will show you at the very end of this video the scriptural reference to Israel being surrounded by enemies. So here are the 2 videos.
Shalom everyone, this is Amir Tsarfati and I am live from Galilee, from Israel. This is the Jezreel Valley right behind me. And these are breaking news. I would like to talk about 2 incidents that took place within the same parameter within Rafah. It's not a coincidence that Rafah is in the headlines right now. It's simply because the Palestinians and the Egyptians both have all the interests in the world to prevent us from moving forward and exposing their multi-billion-dollar business of smuggling weapons and goods under the ground. So the first incident took place last night when Israel drops 2 small and precision-guided bombs to kill some key terrorists that were hiding among civilians in area that has already been warned to evacuate, and not in the area that the IDF designated as humanitarian area. So obviously, when you warn civilians to leave in different ways many times, you assume that whoever stays behind are those that do not want to run away from the IDF, but they actually want to fight. We dropped the bomb on 2 super wanted terrorists that were involved in not only killing Israelis in the past, but also perpetrating terror attacks on Israelis even today, remotely from Gaza, operating the terrorists in the West Bank. So roughly 36 people died. Again, as far as we're concerned, they may not be what we call uninvolved because they were there to cover and to become and to serve as human shields for top terrorists. But the more, I would say, the more important incident that should concern everyone is actually an incident that took place just a few hours ago along the next to the Rafah crossing. And that is when an Egyptian force opened fire at an Israeli armored brigade, Brigade 401, that is maneuvering in the area of the Rafah crossing. And the Israeli soldiers were shocked. I mean, they were expecting fire from the Gazan side, from terrorists, Hamas terrorists, but not from Egyptian soldiers on the other side. Obviously, they had to respond before somebody will get hurt. And throughout the exchange of fire, it appears as if 4 Egyptian soldiers were killed. The incident was put under gag order until not long ago, and now it's released. Now we're investigating it. We're talking with the Egyptian counterpart. This is not a joke, but let me make it very clear. Both Hamas is interested in inflating numbers of casualties among civilians, so the world will pressure Israel to stop the operation in Rafah, and the Egyptians are interested in doing something that will cause unnecessary drama that will cause Israel to stop. And again, you have to understand the Rafah crossing is already, the fact that Israel controls it right now, dropped prices of goods in Rafah and in the Gaza Strip in 300%. In other words, there is no Hamas taxes, there is no mafia taxes. That's it. Now, apart from that, let me also make sure that you understand that Israel is now controlling and exposing multiple tunnels in Rafah, and this is a multi-million-dollar business that both several Palestinians organizations are benefiting from, including obviously Hamas and some strong families, but more so on the Egyptian side, the Egyptian authorities, police, military, all the way up to the son of the president. All of them are involved in the smuggling and the money, the big money that is coming out of it.
Right. And in the last few hours, Sarah, we've heard that an Egyptian soldier has been killed on the Rafah border by the Israeli army. Can you give us any more information about this and why it could be significant?
The Egyptians have confirmed that a soldier was killed. They said in an incident on the Rafah border. They didn't give any details. They actually didn't mention the Israelis. What we do know from the Israeli side, though, and certainly this was reported by Israeli media and confirmed by the military through the Israeli media, that an incident had taken place earlier today. It seems from the Egyptian side firing first, and then the Israelis say they responded. Both are saying that they will investigate this situation. But also, this is going to be problematic, certainly for the mediation talks when it comes to the negotiations regarding the ceasefire deal. Egypt is a mediator. They've met many times in Egypt. It's a tricky situation for Egypt because it does have a peace treaty with Israel, and diplomatically they've remained peaceful for many, many years, and certainly militarily. But Egypt has somewhat been annoyed by the situation, even though it hasn't necessarily been always vocal. It certainly stopped the the aid trucks from coming in. And when the US had asked a couple of days ago and pushed the Egyptians to allow it to come from the Abu Salam crossing, they eventually agreed. But this was in protest, the Egyptians said, at the fact that the Israelis took over the Gazan side of the Rafah border when it's supposed to be the Palestinians in control there. So will we see any military escalation? Highly doubt this. They'll both be investigating it, but certainly diplomatically and certainly when it comes to mediation efforts, this will be a very tricky situation.
Right, thank you for that, Sarah Carriott, there for us in Amman.
Who is Egypt friendly with?
According to mfa.gov.cn, China and Egypt are good friends with common purposes and mutual trust and good partners for joint development and common prosperity.
Is Egypt friendly with the Palestinian nations?
According to Wikipedia, nevertheless, Egypt was one of the first countries to support the Palestinian Declaration of Independence and officially recognized Palestine on the 15th of November 1988. During the 2023 Israel-Hamas war in Gaza, Egypt has provided significant humanitarian aid to the Palestinians through the Rafah border crossing.
But when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then know that its desolation is near. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let those who are in the midst of her depart. And let not those who are in the country enter her. For these are the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe to those who are pregnant, and to those who are nursing babies in those days. For there will be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. And they will fall by the edge of the sword, and be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem will be trampled by Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. And there will be signs in the sun, in the moon, and in the stars. And on the earth, distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Men's hearts failing them from fear, and the expectation of those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. Now when these things begin to happen, look up and lift up your heads, because your redemption draws near.